Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's RP Gang, RP Nation, RP Boxing, RP MMA, and coming at y'all in the dark. It's actually in the morning where I'm at, but I wanted, like, if I got my garage door closed. If I open the garage door, it'd be too bright, so I'd rather just like have a dark scenery. It's a little better. Next time we'll have better lighting. But again, it's last second. You know, we got the Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez card coming up. We have the Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero card coming up tonight. So hopefully I get it out before the fight starts. Actually, I will get it out before the fight starts, so no worries about that. Not too much editing going on today. But if you've seen the title, we're going to be doing a betting breakdown for the whole card. I was going to drop a traditional like prediction video, but I thought, you know, it's a little too late. Just drop those minuscule videos, you know, one by one videos. So I thought let's just group it all into one, and I'll give y'all a different, you know, take on the fights. Obviously, you'll get my prediction, but you'll also get my betting insight on each of the fights. So let's get right into it. Got my notes for the card. I just need to see. Okay, we'll start with Teofimo Lopez going up against Arnold Barboza. The first bet that I have is under 1.5 knockdowns for -330. That's one of my first parlay pieces for the fight. The 3 fights tonight. I didn't cover Canelo or Skull, but for Canelo Skull, just a brief breakdown. I would probably just say bet on Canelo by decision, because I feel like he hasn't gotten a decision in a while. A lot of the fights that you feel like he's going to get a decision in, he doesn't. Skull is huge. You just got to hope that Skull hangs in there. And then for Inoue, that fight's pretty much unbettable. So maybe just bet overs, maybe. I don't know. But back to the real fights tonight. Story of the weekend. Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. Barboza's only been down in a fight against Salcido. I think that was in 2020. But otherwise, he isn't really like a knockout threat. Isn't really a knockdown threat. You know, more of a pure boxer. So he's going to look to, you know, do damage to Teo. And Teo's honestly had the worst knockdown history. Went down a flash knockdown against Kambosos. And then, oh yeah, against Sandor Martin. You know, and those were flash knockdowns, if you remember. The first round, it was a fiery first round with Kambosos. And then the next... All right, my bad. I had to do a cut. The lights completely went off, so you couldn't really see me. I think this is a little better for the lighting part. But yeah, in those fights, you know, flash knockdowns. And Teo himself isn't really a knockout artist himself. So I think he knocked out Pedro Campa, but I'm not sure if those are kind of knockdowns. I'm not really sure, but I don't think he's going to be able to, you know, hurt Barboza in that type of way. I think it's going to be, you know, more of a battle, technical battle. You know, you might see Teo has the capability to. I think he knocked down, what was it, Kambosos in the later rounds. But he's knocked down people once. The thing with knockdowns that I was looking at, and I think you're going to see in my breakdown with Ryan and Rolly, is that knockdowns don't necessarily count for knockouts. So someone could be knocked out, but it's not knocked down, you know. So you could see a situation where it's like, even in a fight where it's like somebody gets knocked down, but then they get completely knocked out later in the fight, and that he finished with one knockdown and then the knockout. So it's completely separate. So I think this fight probably goes the distance, but yeah, I just don't think we see that many knockdowns in this fight. If it does finish, I mean, the decision prop is pretty good, but I like the under 1.5 knockdowns personally. So that's what I got. And then the middle confidence bet that I have for this is Arnold Barboza by decision plus 260. If you look at both of them right now, Arnold Barboza just came off one of the best performances of his career, going up against Josh Taylor, you know, and that's somebody who also Teo did really well against himself. But you look at other fights, you know, he's been pretty inconsistent. You look at a fight like Sandor Martin, you know, he didn't look too good in that fight, very close fight. Steve Claggett, you know, he won that, you'd say decisively, but it wasn't too convincing. And I believe another fight is Jermaine Ortiz too. That's another fight where it was very close, very competitive. Obviously, those are tough fights. They're not like easy, but again, for someone who went out there and styled on someone like Josh Taylor, you expect a little bit more. A world-class fighter, a guy who beat Lomachenko, you expect a little bit more out of a fighter like that. So just disappointing performances. And honestly, Arnold Barboza is I don't know if he's a younger guy, actually. I don't know. But he has more momentum going into the spot. He's looked better in the last performance. I think you just take that chance, because Teo, it's a show me spot. It's for sure it's a show me spot. That's why I give it middle confidence. And like I was saying, it's a show me spot. You know, he has to go out there and prove himself. You know, he does, you know, when the brights are the lightest, you know, he goes out there and does a really good job of, you know, putting on good performances, you know. So you could almost say that he fights to the level of his opponents. So maybe he goes out there, and if Arnold looks good, maybe he just rises up. You know, it's a Riyadh card. It's a card, you know, in the middle of Times Square. He's been talking a lot of crap. So let's see if he can go out there and prove it. But to me, I think this is one of the best bets of the card. I know a lot of people are going to be on the Arnold Barboza decision prop. So let's see what Tua can do. You know, it's one of those where it's just like sit back and prove me wrong. So yeah, next fight we have Jose Ramirez going up against Devin Haney, Devin the Dream Haney, the GOAT. You know what I mean? My favorite fighter. No bias in this though, no bias, because if I was truly biased, I would be sitting up here and telling you to bet Devin Haney by knockout. But I know we've been hearing a lot about Devin Haney's punching power. Devin Haney has learned how to turn his punches over. Devin Haney has learned how to, put more emphasis on the power with Shane Mosley. But I just don't believe it. I mean, not that I don't believe it, but I think Jose Ramirez will be able to stay in there. Maybe you see, I know there's a prop out there for Devin Haney to win and over 1.5 knockdowns. Maybe you look at something like that. I think that's around plus 290. I'll put it on the screen for you to see it. But honestly, my parlay piece for this fight is Devin Haney by unanimous decision, I think. I don't know if you can make a distinction between unanimous, majority, and just a regular decision. But I would for sure bet the decision. I'll put it up there. All the bets are going to be like right beside me right there, so I'll put them right there. But yeah, I think it's minus 390. It's a good parlay piece. You'll be seeing the final parlay that I put together at the end. But yeah, that's another parlay piece you can put with Teofimo Lopez going up against Arnold Barboza under 1.5 knockdowns for the whole fight. Hey, he's just a decisionator, you know. I think even in the lead up to the Ryan Garcia fight, there was a lot of money coming in on the knockout. He ended up going to a decision in that fight. Progress goes to a decision. So not that he doesn't have the ability to go to get that knockout, but I just think in this fight, keep it safe. He's been talking about how he let his emotions get to him, so I think he's going to be having that knockout in the back of his mind. He's not going to, overswing, overdo it. I think he's going to stay behind that jab, stay disciplined. I think a disciplined Devin Haney is the best Devin Haney in the world, so he's got to go out there and prove it, prove the haters wrong, but also stay true to his style that got him to the dance. So I think you see a more reserved Devin Haney. It might not be the most exciting fight, but it'll be a very convincing victory. So give me Devin Haney by decision parlay piece. And my second bet that I do have though is Jose Ramirez. You can sprinkle this. I wouldn't go heavy on this, but Jose Ramirez to be knocked down. We saw the power. If you are a believer in the power, I don't even know if he gets a knockdown, but maybe a flash knockdown occurs. I think so. I think if the power is real, if the power is true, maybe you see it in this fight. So give me Jose Ramirez to be knocked down at least once. I don't think he finishes him off. Maybe it's just a flash knockdown like you saw in the Regis Prograis fight, but something similar to that. He gives some people my bad, I'm stuttering. Give something for people to talk about, and yeah, I think it would just be a good add-on to an already dominant victory. So give me that. That's all I really got for that fight. Yeah, and then the next fight that we're gonna talk about is obviously Rolly Romero going up against Ryan Garcia, or Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Either way, so Rolly Romero going up against Ryan Garcia should be a really good fight. Really good, exciting fight. But I honestly didn't put this in the parlay pieces or anything. So these are just like bets that I lean towards. I'm not really confident either way with this fight, just because I think the fight could go a lot of different ways. I could see Rolly knocking him out. I could see knocking Ryan Garcia out. I could see Ryan Garcia knocking Rolly Romero out. I could see the fight going a little longer. I could see it going a little earlier. So these are just leans, just from what I see. But I think this is the most unpredictable fight on the card. I wouldn't put in any parlays. I wouldn't even parlay Ryan by knockout. I just like everything about the way Ryan himself is just an erratic human being. I could just see him coming out and giving like the worst performance of his career. I think not to be crazy, but I don't know, go against the norm or anything, but I think there is something to be said about him being off the Osterine or the Nandrolone, all that type of stuff. This is the first fight back. I think there also is something to be said about that edge, that craziness that he has. He's a lot more chill this time. So, and Rolly Romero is a very big power puncher himself. So don't rule out the possibility of him getting a knockout. But just going into my bets though, just complete what I'm feeling. I like the under 1.5 knockdowns. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think we get a fight where it's like, oh, Rolly knocks Ryan out or Ryan knocks Rolly out. I think it'll be something like, if someone gets knocked down, that's probably the end of the fight, shortly after. It'll be like Ryan knocking down Rolly, and then he finishes the fight. It was interesting for me to see that Gervonta Davis actually only scored 1 knockdown versus Rolly Romero, because he scores the knockout right after he scores the knockdown. So in the books, it goes as 1 knockdown, and that's the end of the fight. So I think we see somewhat similar to that. I don't think Rolly keeps getting up and getting up and getting up. He doesn't have a really good chin. But again, he also does hit really hard too. We've seen Ryan as a quitter. We saw in the Gervonta Davis fight when he did get hurt to the body, he immediately quit, took a knee, and that was the end of the fight. So that's what I think. That's what I think happens. I think we see under 1.5 knockdowns, but again, could easily. I wouldn't even. These bets that I'm giving out, take away. I wouldn't even bet these. I have my confident parlay that I have at the end that I'm going to give out, but I'm not confident in these at all. Under 6.5 rounds though is something that I really like. Minus 110. Not a bad bet. I mean, both these guys are, like I said, they're both heavy hitters. They're both big punchers. Ryan's looking to kill. Rolly might not have the best form. Doesn't have the amateur pedigree that Ryan Garcia has, but he hits like a brick. If you can recall, Gervonta Davis did say that Rolly Ramirez was the hardest hitter that he ever faced. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what that necessarily means. Maybe he's just trying to spite Ryan or spite some of his other opponents, but that I feel like that means something. Rolly hits like a ton of bricks, man. So does Ryan. Honestly, it's not even really Ryan necessarily hitting hard. It's more about the shots that you don't see coming. They're so fast. They're so unexpected. They hit your chin, and you're just like, what hit you? You know what I mean? So, but Rolly, you might see it coming in. You still might get knocked out. So different types of power on both sides. It's just a bunch of violence, and I think in under 6.5 rounds. And then that's at minus 110. A little sprinkle. Honestly, don't even sprinkle. I don't know. I would place the same amount of value on all these bets. I'm not super confident in them, but these are violent bets. Like if you think that there's gonna be violence in the fight, I like these bets. Either fighter to be knocked down in rounds 1 through 3 at plus 200. I'm surprised. Ryan's a fast starter. He's gonna come out swinging like he did in the Haney fight. And Rolly, he's always gunning for that knockout. Like, he was aggressive from round 1. This is not a fight that I think either guy's gonna be trying to be patient. Trying to prolong it to go to a decision. It's gonna be in the middle of Times Square. There's gonna be expectation to go out there and put on a show. I think both these guys are gonna come out swinging and see who's got more guts. So I like that. I mean, rounds 1 through 3 is probably when Rolly's gonna be most dangerous. So let's see it, man. Let's see it. So I know that's kind of negative correlation to have either fight to be knocked down in the rounds 1 through 3, and then under 1.5 knockdowns. So, but again, I just see value in the -2 in the plus 200. I think honestly that should be maybe like plus 150. So to get it at plus 200, I think is amazing. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna put all the bets obviously right here. So they're gonna pop up. So take a screenshot if you need to, all that type of stuff. But this is the final part of the video that y'all wanted to see. Again, bet with caution on the Rolly Garcia fight. I think that fight's really volatile. It could go many different ways. So I didn't want to come out here with full confidence, but I am confident in this parlay. So if I get this parlay, let's see, what could I say? If I don't succeed with this parlay, and y'all tell, I don't even know how big this video is gonna be, but if I don't, then I don't know. I just don't think there's like enough stakes to where I could do. I will do 1,000 push-ups if this doesn't hit. That's how confident I am, and I'll do it on the YouTube channel. Probably speed run it. It'll be part of it'll be at the end of a MMA related video. I'll just throw it in there. But yeah, 1,000 push-ups. I'll do it on camera, all that type of stuff. But I'm super confident in this parlay. Haney by unanimous decision, right on there. You're gonna see it. And under 1.5 rounds, Arnold Barboza, Teofimo Lopez. That's the parlay right there. That builds out to minus 159. So I think you bet $15.90 to win $10, if I'm not mistaken. And you just keep going. $159 to win $100, all that type of stuff. I think that's a guaranteed parlay, man. That's as guaranteed as it gets, man. Haney decisions guys. He beats them, but he doesn't knock them out. And Arnold Barboza and Teofimo Lopez just aren't power punchers. It's gonna be technical. A lot of beef between those guys, but you're not gonna see it in the form of knockdowns. You're gonna see it in the form of punches to the face, posturing, feints, and high-level boxing at the end of the day. So, and I think that's gonna result in no knockdowns in this fight. That's all I got for y'all today. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties and the production issues. We're gonna get this better in the future, but that's all I got for y'all today. Leave a like, review, subscribe. Peace out. You know it is. Ooh.